Last week I was telling you about a really amazing trip that I took up north with a group of women to Meron, to the grave of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. And I told you that the highlight of the trip was that the Rebbetzin who was leading our group took us at midnight to the grave of Rabbi Shimon to pray. She explained to us that midnight is the best time of the day or night to pray, that it's a time when heaven is most open and receptive to our prayers. So I was really excited to go and to experience this for the first time in my life, going to pray at midnight. The thing is, I had had actually a pretty hard day, a very tiring day before that going to pray at midnight at the grave. Instead of taking 3 hours to get up to Meron, I missed the bus, so it took me 7 hours to get there. And on the way there, then I left my bag with all of my stuff in the back of a taxi. So I lost the bag. So all that I had with me was my water and my wallet. I didn't know if I would get the bag back. It was very stressful. So basically, by the time midnight rolled around, I was so tired. There used to be like a public service announcement on TV, and they would show a frying pan, and they would say, "This is drugs." And then they would break an egg into the frying pan, and they would say, "And this is your brain on drugs." And that was how I felt. I felt like my brain was in that frying pan. All the women around me, they were taking out their prayer books, and they're taking out their books of Psalms, and they were really going to it and really, starting to pray. And I was just sitting there and just feeling so tired, like I just didn't have any energy to pray at all. But I knew that I had come there, I had traveled 7 hours, and I was going to do it. It was midnight, and I was going to pray too. So I tried to take out a book of Psalms, but my mind was all fuzzy just from being overtired. So I closed it, and I said, God, I came here to pray. I came here to pray for one thing in particular, that I want you to help me, God, to be a good mother. I want you to help me so I can raise children who are happy children and healthy children and good Jews and people who will be curious and passionate and people who will bring, a great light to the world and to the Jewish people. But when I say this, I felt something akin to despair. I felt like, I have such high aspirations for my family. I have such high aspirations for myself and what I want to accomplish in the world. But I'm so tired. I'm so tired. There's no way that I can do any of these things. My brain is in like that frying pan, like sizzling. There's nothing that I'm not going to be able to accomplish all these things. There's no way. Then I realized at that moment, like I had a revelation. It's like they say in Hebrew, nafal ha'asimon. I realized something. I realized that, when I'm not feeling so tired, when I'm faced with a challenge in life, then the first thing I do is I try to throw solutions at it. Like I ask this expert, or I look on the internet, or I open this parenting book, or I try to find solutions, and I try to do everything myself. But I realized that the reality is, even when I'm not exhausted, even when I feel powerful, I'm not so powerful. Even when I feel powerful, all of the power is in God's hand. I have to turn to God. That was why I had to come to pray at midnight in Meron, to have that feeling of powerlessness and to know that feeling of powerlessness is the reality at all times. So yesterday, I had an experience that reminded me of the experience of praying at midnight at Meron. Summer vacation is not, for a lot of mothers, it's really not such an easy time. I, for example, I'm used to having, my mornings, my time to work, and, my quiet. But now, not all of my kids are in summer camp. So it means that, by the time, usually, let's say until like 10 or 11 at night, I'm going and I'm working and I'm cleaning and I'm taking care of my kids. But yesterday it was 4 p.m. and my brain was in the frying pan. I was so tired. I remember I was walking somewhere with my children, and my 8-year-old asked me for a bottle of water. And it took me like half a minute to even respond. Like my brain was frozen honey. That's what it was like frozen honey, So at that moment, I remembered being in Meron, and I said, I just turned to God and I said, God, you gave me these children, you have to help me. like it's summer vacation, it's hard for me, you gotta help me out. You know, I wanna be the best mother possible, but I'm so tired, and it's hard, and it's summer vacation. Help me please. So, I just want to say, you know, I think all of us know that it's important to pray at times when there's, God forbid, there's an emergency. Let's say someone's very sick, or let's say someone's in a dangerous situation. Well, then of course they know that they should pray. But I think as mothers, it's so important that, you know, throughout our lives, throughout our daily lives as mothers, that we open our mouths and pray, that we turn to God, and God can really help. You know, let's say that even like in small situations, let's say that you really feel like you're just totally going to lose your cool, like everyone's fighting, you're just going to lose your cool. Turn to God. You know, God gave you these children, God will help you out. So I just want to bless all of us, you know, even at those times when we feel like our brain is in the frying pan, you know, that we should turn to God for help, and that will help. I want to wish everyone an amazing week.